This is Scott Becker with a quick note today at Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. And 7 thoughts on building a business. So we always start with the first thought is to know where your current business comes from. Who are your top clients? What are your top areas? And staying very close and very connected to those and doubling down on those. If there's one lesson to learn in business, it's the constant discipline of knowing where your business comes from, knowing who your best customers and clients are, staying very close to them, and make sure that they're getting taken care of tremendously well. And that'll segue into my second point. The second point we think about in building a business is the worst thing in business is one and done, or constantly catch and release clients. So the next concept in business is constantly doing great work with great teams for your clients and making sure your customers and clients are getting value from what you do. It's staying highly connected and doing great work for your clients. There's nothing worse in an organization than being great in sales and bad in delivery. Execution is everything because you're really trying to build a client base and a customer base out of getting great clients and keeping great clients by doing tremendous work for them. So that's our second point. The third point we talked about today is this concept of brand marketing to lead generation. Back in the old days, everything was about big brand advertising, and you still see some of that. But the reality for most businesses, small, mid, and large, is you're trying to turn branding into leads and then following up with those contacts and leads to turn that into business. No matter what business you're in, there's this movement, this conversion from brand to lead to customer that is a critical staging of how you look at things. So we've met over the years so many people that are great at branding, but if you can't turn that branding into leads and into business, that branding is fun, but think of it as an advanced hobby versus truly a business in generating a business. The fourth thing that we think about is that in business, it is often the case that your real business is built around 5 to 50 contacts and relationships. It's not built around, you could be in a general consumer business, and this is different. For most of the business I'm involved in, it's much more that you're building around a handful of clients, customers, relationships, and constantly staying close with them and doubling down on them. So not to think about things in terms of general branding, but more in terms of where does your business come from, who are your close relationships in business, and how do you constantly help them and cultivate them and stay close to them? And that's sort of the fourth concept of thinking of this in terms of your world built around 10 great relationships, 20 great relationships, 50 great relationships, not around thousands of Facebook's friends, thousands of LinkedIn contacts, but it's really built around, when it really comes down to business, X amount of close relationships. The fifth thing, and again, it ties into this branding to lead generation, is you're building a business, is you're maintaining your client relationships. It's constantly having good excuses, good ways to stay in touch with your close contacts, your close relationships, your great clients, as well as those that you're trying to cultivate as relationships and contacts. It's not that you're writing a great article, it's that you're taking the time to send that article to the people that are your close relationships in a one-on-one fashion. It's not that you're having a dinner, but you're taking the time to invite X amount of your close colleagues to that dinner. That's just not a general cluster, but it's a focused effort to be in touch with your closest colleagues and contacts. The sixth point that we'll make is you grow in business, people think in terms of larger clients and larger niche areas, and that's fine and makes sense. But you have to recognize as you start to attack larger niches and larger clients, those typically have longer lead times to start to have real success in those areas. And that's okay, but you have to plan for that to make sure you think about that. And then the next point would be the counter to that so much of business is singles and doubles and growing a relationship. It's not a single or double for the smallest client or customer that can't pay the bills of the business you're in, but it's a single or double for the large client or the large customer that you want to get in the door with. And thinking of it as, how can I get started and then expand what we're doing for those people and do great work for them? You're almost not going to you're hardly ever going to start off as a full enterprise solution for somebody, but how do I start to develop a relationship, start to do work? The most likely client is someone that's already done work with you and continue to double down on that concept. So again, this is very core. I hope you enjoy this. If you have questions on it any time, feel free to reach out to me, 773-766-5322. The first person that reaches out today based on this podcast will send a $100 Amazon gift certificate. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. Thank you very, very much. Those are just 7 quick thoughts on building businesses and practices. Thank you.